There's a famous case of a young girl named Kitty Genovese. Kitty was brutally murdered in New York City in the 1960s. The interesting thing about that case was at one point they thought up to 38 people were witnesses in some way, shape, or form to the crime. Happened at about 2 o'clock in the morning, so it wasn't in broad daylight, but neighbors, different people in the streets heard what was going on. After the fact, as police investigated and talked to folks in the neighborhood, the common theme was we didn't want to get involved. We thought somebody else intervened. We thought somebody else would call for help. We thought somebody else would do the right thing. How often does this happen? It happens a lot. Fast forward to modern day, 2009 in October in California, a young 15-year-old girl was raped and beaten outside of a high school dance while up to 20 people watched, some even laughing and taking phone pictures. This numbs our mind, except the reason that I want to talk about this with you is that we have this notion that we're safe when we're around other people in society. We're safe because he or she or them will do the right thing. They'll call for help. They'll intervene. Recently put a video up on our Instagram account of a New York City subway beating where two boys had a guy on the ground kicking his head in while other folks stood there in the subway just watching, not wanting to get involved. Have you ever heard the term, nobody's coming to save you? Now, friends of mine in law enforcement take offense to that because they say we are coming to save you. The problem is, and maybe that saying should be nobody's coming immediately to save you. And immediately, even in the context of 5 seconds, could be the end of your life. Because bullets, knives, things like that are forever sometimes. So we have to be willing and able to do the right thing immediately if that time comes. There are people dressed like you and me out in the world with a concealed weapon that intervene to do the right thing, but everybody else, all they see is a dude with a gun. You tracking? There is a great mantle placed upon you when you decide that you're going to intervene in violence, when you're going to intervene in a medical emergency, when you're going to intervene out in the world to try to do the right thing. So you need to understand that in doing that, you're taking on a great level of responsibility that sometimes you can't take back whatever's going to happen. Be understanding of that. Learn the laws where you live. Just as importantly, don't assume somebody's coming to save you. Even when your blood-curdling screams for help are heard, people may not call. People may not call. And that is just indicative of human beings. So rather than lament that, rather than us sit here and talk about it and you guys write comments below about how those people were filthy animals, let's just accept that that's how humans are, and because our quest is to live long, full lives, let our quest become preparing ourselves to prevail in that regardless of what's going on around it. Prepare your children, prepare your wife, your loved ones, and those that you care about, and help them understand that there perhaps may be nobody willing to intervene on their behalf. They have to do it themselves. This is Mickey and Drew with CarryTrainer.com. Hope you're well. Understand what you're getting into. Seek to do the right thing. And if you're going to do the right thing, get after it. Be well.
This comes up in training all the time, right? In one of my kind of flagship lectures, we talk about intervention a lot. Like, are you going to intervene, right? If something kicks off, right? Now, for a lot of concealed carriers, in their minds, that's Super Bowl Sunday, right? Something has happened and I am going to intervene and I am going to smoke that bad guy and I'm going to be a big giant hero. Okay. On the other hand, you've got the not my circus, not my monkeys crowd, right? Not my circus, not my monkeys. Well, all I say is those tend to be positions, polar positions, where people will take one or the other and defend it to the death. But meanwhile, that's a logical exercise. They have never asked themselves, what am I wired to do? What will I actually do when and if, the proverbial shit hits the fan, right?